So welcome everyone. This week we watched Girlboss.
Also known as How to Be a Sociopath Without Really Trying and Then Become Famous.
Yeah, no, that was... I like the...
Hashtag sociopath.
Manic Pixie Dream Girl.
Based on the book. Hashtag Girlboss.
Oh, God.
This is Bad Watch.
Welcome.
A show where we watch the shit out of shit. He's Andy.
Yeah, that guy's Evan.
That is what you normally say at that point. And yeah, Girlboss, I don't know what... You actually suggested this, and I would like to ask, as a human being you subjected this television show to, why?
Because I'd already seen it. I'd already seen parts of it with Allison, and I was like, I'm pretty sure Evan's going to love-hate it.
So, does everyone remember Dan in real life, or as the hardcore people call it, Durl? D-I-R-L? Dan in real life.
No one calls it that. Get out.
Steve Carell, when they're like, I think that guy from The Office, he can carry a romantic comedy.
I loved that movie.
It's a very good movie. I'm not trying to knock...
okay.
I'm not trying to knock Durl.
I thought you were making...
I'm a real Durl head. I'm a real Durl
okay,
head.
this needs to stop.
I'm a real Durl head. But in that movie, Steve Carell has, 3 daughters?
Yeah, I think so,
The middlest daughter?
Believe so.
Grows up to become fictional hashtag Girlboss. And she's the worst person.
Yeah. It's like I don't know if you're familiar with Manic Pixie Dream Girl. I know Evan is, but any of our multitude of listeners, I'm going to keep making that joke. Any of our multitude of listeners might not be familiar with that. Look it up. She fits that to a T, but she's like edgier, and it just makes my eyes roll harder.
Well, I think the classic Manic Pixie Dream Girl trope is that they are whimsical and they open the eyes of this man who's repressed in some way, and then they have a terminal illness. And so the man has to carry on without them. He is thus awakened for the rest of his life.
He'll always treasure the memories of her.
I will say, this is a unique twist on the Manic Pixie Dream Girl mythos, because you have a character who is actively trying not to sleep with men, and...
Well, no, actually, she's fine with sleeping with them. But sleeping.
She's actually not doing the deed.
Yeah, she's literally sleeping.
She's literally sleeping in their bed and asking them to make ocean noises to help her fall asleep.
At which point it's like, well, I don't want to do this. Get out of my bed. Good night.
And I was like, well, it's a good thing you didn't have sex with that man, because clearly he has no balls. Because if any person who, number one, was in my bed, number two, acted like they wanted to have sex, and then was like, nah, I'm good, I'm just gonna sleep here, and then also, can you please make ocean noises to help me fall asleep since you don't have a noise machine? I'm like, you need to leave my apartment right now.
So I'm your noise machine. Like, it was insane. It was insane. And the guy was like, no, that's sort of cute and funny.
Yeah, he's like, this is adorable, and now I'm gonna do seagull noises, and she's like,
that made me chuckle.
She's like, ha ha ha, now back to the ocean. And I was like, you're a monster.
Oh, man.
Truly. So...
Okay, so let's...
So hold on to your Durl memories. Again, that's Dan in real life memories. Just treasure that.
Maybe that'll be my good watch. I love that movie.
Dane Cook is in that movie.
I know.
He's dating a teenager, I'm pretty sure. Granted, she's 18 or 19.
In Earl? Or in Durl?
In Earl, IRL.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure his girlfriend is 18 or 19 years old.
Really?
And he's in his 40s?
No, don't.
It's a little gross. But to each his own. I'm not here to... You know what?
I mean, we are here to...
Let's forget I said anything about Dane Cook. Let's just treasure those Durl memories that I have not tarnished with discussion of Dane Cook's love life. The show Girlboss opens. You see the middleest Durl daughter. She's in a shitty hatchback car driving... She's in a shitty hatchback driving through San Francisco, not one of the most expensive cities to live in the country. And the whole premise of the show is that this person has no money.
She's making it somehow.
You could go to a different city where they don't have like 5 people living in one-bedroom apartments. Anywho, she's making it up one of San Francisco's very steep hills. She gets to the stop sign and her car runs out of gas. And rather than rolling back down the hill, which I would have enjoyed very much, the car just is suddenly motionless.
Like she put it, but then she starts pushing it. So she both applied a brake and put it in neutral.
It is clearly not in park. Because she's like, but when the needle's in red, there's a quarter tank left. And I was like, the needle is pointing to the E, which means there's no tank.
Yeah, or maybe her needle's broken, and that's it's a piece of shit car, and that's what they're saying.
You're giving her far too much credit.
I like to help TV shows.
She gets out of the car. She's yelling at bad people.
I'm the voice of hope.
she's yelling at the drivers who are annoyed that she is stopped in traffic to go around, and she's now pushing her shitty hatchback up the hill.
Up a hill. Not going to happen.
And also, by the way, a streetcar, because San Francisco is one of those old school cities that still has those, comes up behind her and rings its little charming bell, and she's like, go around! And he's like, I can't go around, I'm on a track. I'm also Squidward.
Anyway, so he's like, you look like you need assistance, and she pulls up her middle finger.
She flips him the bird.
Which is like, he just offered help. He offered to help.
He offered to help. It was not like, you bitch. How'd you let your car run out of gas? Because that would warrant the middle finger. Yeah. Instead, he said, would you like some help?
You look like you need help.
And she, without looking at him, flips him the bird.
And it was just like... and then they cut behind the track.
And there's like already 20 cars piled up. Yeah.
It's been 10 seconds. What is...
San Francisco's a happening town.
Just on that street.
It's just hopping.
That's our intro to her.
Where does she... so we're supposed to be rooting for this character to succeed. And already...
I you know what? I think they're like, you know what? Let's just make this character awful. She's got a lot of places to grow. And I'm like, you have succeeded in the awfulness. I don't know about growth because I'm not going to watch more, but...
The thing is, though, like, even in this first episode, this character has no growth.
They fake it. When she's like, why am I such an asshole?
Well,
nothing changes.
She asks herself later, why am I such an asshole? Then she proceeds to steal a rug, sleep in a public park, and embarrass her father.
Well, first, stand him up for I don't know how long.
Yes.
Because she fell... So
multiple Manhattans were consumed while she was late for dinner with her father.
She went garbage diving for food after she had just eaten a sandwich. I was like, I don't understand this. Like this, they're like, we're gonna make this character seem desperate, but it's like you just ate a sandwich.
Yeah, and you stole a rug. Yeah,
it was a spite sandwich.
There's an eviction notice at her apartment because, of course, she's getting evicted because, of course, she has no money because she's a shit person.
She just got fired from her job for being terrible. Her bosses.
She nails up the rug to the wall because she's getting evicted. What the fuck does she care? Security deposit? What's that? And then she takes a photo of this 1970s.
Didn't she use the rug as the background?
Vintage jacket. What's up?
Did she use the rug as the background?
She nails the rug up, takes a photo wearing the jacket in front of the rug, and by the end of the episode, the bids are up to $180 or something, and her eyes light up because this is her destiny, and she's on the hero's journey, as Joseph Campbell would say.
I feel we skipped over everything here.
So that's the whole episode. Now there is other stuff that happens. So what happens after the car? Is that when she goes to the bar?
She goes to the bar to meet her friend.
She goes to the bar to meet her friend, also the worst person in the world, who is sleeping...
Also sort of manic pixie-ish, too.
Very manic pixie-ish, sleeping with the bartender solely for his large penis and free booze.
Free booze, yep.
And there is a 7-piece band or something playing in this bar.
Including a theremin. And that rang very false for me. Not that they had a theremin player, but not that I've met a lot of theremin players, but people who are dorky enough to have a theremin, they're into it.
They fucking love it. That is their shit. And this, they in between songs or whatever, the drummer's like, "Hey, I'm gonna go get a beer. Do you want anything?" And Mary Ann, the theremin player, says,
"A real instrument,
a trombone, a guitar." a real fucking instrument.
It's like, did someone force you to play theremin? I don't. Like, is this musical torture? Is this a mighty wind? There was abuse in my family, but it was mostly musical in nature.
She has to play theremin for 3 years before she can finally achieve her freedom. That's how she made the move to San Francisco.
It's a terrible indentured theremin service, and it's the dark, seedy underbelly of the theremin industry.
It really is. No one talks about it.
Can that be this TV show now?
No one talks about it. But Girlboss, only Girlboss is brave enough to go there.
It's a biopic, the seedy underbelly of the theremin world revealed.
Oh my god!
Tell all.
I would watch the shit out of that documentary.
It sounds amazing.
Also, before we get to the bar, by the way, we missed her whole Forrest Gump moment, where she's talking to the old lady on the bench in the park.
Yeah.
Where there's an extreme close-up on her face, and she's having this whole
angsty
monologue
BS thing.
Where life is bullshit, and she doesn't want to grow up and get a job and become a drone because conformity is evil.
And your dreams are dead.
Yeah,
but she hasn't expressed any dreams, which her dad points out later, the dad character was, like, real.
Played by the lovely Dean Norris. Mm-hmm. Now, when I say lovely, I mean he seems like a charming human being. I do not.
he says lovely for a very, and then explains why he says lovely and what he means by that very specifically because her friend at the bar thinks that he is hot.
Yes.
And that is not a true statement.
The friend at the bar, number one, is not at all surprised that her friend, Girlboss, is getting evicted, and she suggests, I guess you'll have to move in with your hot dad. And I said, and I was thinking, I wonder who her dad is.
Right.
Maybe like a Harry Connick Jr. type? No. Dean Norris, the average height bald man known from Breaking Bad. He's very talented, and I'm sure he's a lovely human being. Lovely in the sense that he would be a pleasure to have a cup of coffee with.
He'd probably even be a great dad.
Probably a great dad, even, I'm willing to bet.
Not a hot dad.
He's not on the short list for sexiest man alive. I think he owns that, okay? Yeah. He owns his bald beautiful. I'm the thing from the Fantastic Four.
He owns his bald not beautifulness.
Well, it's a sliding scale. When you're bald, the beautiful is very different. Anywho, the Forrest Gump moment. I really want to touch on this because it's my favorite character in this whole episode.
Yeah.
She's giving this monologue, and the camera pans over, and there's an older lady sitting next to...
Like, she is ancient.
She's an old lady sitting next to Girlboss, and she says... That's bullshit.
I was like, thank you.
It is, because it is bullshit. It sounds like bullshit, and if it quacks like a duck, walks like a duck, it's probably bullshit.
Yeah.
And the Girlboss is like, what do you mean? There's literally a point where I was like, they're really hitting the Forrest Gump thing hard, because she's like, that's just what life is. You grow up, you die.
Yeah, it was
some freshman year philosophy bullshit.
The old lady slaps her, and it's delightful.
When Girlboss tries to argue that her monologue was not bullshit, old lady straight up slaps her.
And Girlboss goes, "You're just an old school slap me."
Yeah, and I was like, what does that even mean? She just regular slapped you.
But it was like she obviously needed it. But it's just this character's like so bad.
Yes, there's little to like about her. She's not even an asshole in a funny way or a fun way. Yeah, she straight up just steals a rug, and like we're supposed to think that's funny. They had like upbeat music when it was happening. Yeah, and I'm trying to think of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and I think probably Seinfeld was the first show to really do this, where the main characters were inherently terrible people, but you were very invested in their antics because they were extremely funny and still likable on some level. This show is going for all of the shittiness of the Philadelphia and Seinfeld universes into one woman and her manic pixie
she's basically
girlfriend.
Alone trying to carry this,
and she's just the worst. It's bad.
She has the maturity level of a 16-year-old.
Yes, and that's what's funny.
She's playing a 23-year-old.
Yeah, she says to the old woman asks how old she is. Girlboss is 23, and the old woman laughs. And I think you're supposed to get that she laughs because the main character is so immature.
I think so.
Of course, that is lost on Girlboss. The humor of this moment. Oh, the irony.
I did like that grandmother.
Yeah, I asked. I was like, when does she get her spin-off? I would watch the shit out of her show. And Allison's
baking
like,
cookies
she
and
never comes
dispensing
back.
advice.
And I was like, even in Forrest Gump, the people he talks to on the bus bench come back at the very end as he finishes narrating his bizarre life story. In any event, we're at the bar. Manic Pixie Dream Girlfriend fucking the bartender to get free booze. Right. Turns out the relationship is less than 24 hours old because they consummated it the previous evening
3 times
on the bar.
Mm-hmm. Right where her friend's elbow is.
Right where Girlboss's arm is resting. And no one is horrified by this. There's just sort of like
looked over,
just like mildly discomfited.
So she's mature about sex things, but she's not having sex.
Yes.
But it's weird.
And her friend orders a Brandy Alexander, and then she gets a vodka cranberry to promote UTI health or something.
Again,
it's a real lie in the show. That's not a joke I'm making.
That's like the Manic Pixie, that's like the whole whimsical, they just say things on top of their head.
They
off
have
the top of the
sex.
dome.
You know what's great about these girls? They fuck.
And they just say stuff, and it's cute and funny and whimsical, and it was just like, why would you say these things in a conversation?
It's like they're delivering jokes and they're not funny. It's like if someone were reading a Jonathan Franzen novel as if it were a joke book. The Fiesta ware is making my cupboard sag.
What?
Andy, okay, I have really... My feelings on Jonathan Franzen are the subject for a completely different podcast. But let's move on.
Everyone knows you have the sickest references. I just wish I got them there.
I do have the sickest references, and it's upsetting that I have such a co-host who doesn't. In any event, Girlboss gets up from the bar so that her friend and bartender can, I guess, have sex again. She then is watching the 7-piece band with the theremin player. From
way back by the bar, there's like a whole room.
There's an entire room, concert space, stage area in between her and the drummer, but they make eye contact.
And he's smiling and she's smiling and he's still playing the drums and they're still playing a song.
Friend,
and he's just staring at her.
I think Girlboss asks her friend, "Who's that?" And she's referring to the drummer, and the friend says, "Oh, that's Dax. That's the bartender's new roommate." Is the bartender's name Dax?
Yeah, his name is Dax.
That's Dax's new roommate, Shane.
His dad owns a water park.
And that's only relevant because
it's for the next line of the joke.
Best friend thinks that's the coolest job that a dad can have.
Well, so that's what she says, but then she's like, that boy's making a water park in your pants. And that's the only reason they added that line in there, I think.
Yes.
It's because they were like, we want to make a sex joke.
Shane's making a water park in your panties. Yep. And I was like, first of all, panties is the ugliest sounding word on my little ears. Just say underwear.
Panties does it for you?
I'm not the only person who feels that panties is an awful, horrendous sounding word.
Panties.
Another trigger for people is moist.
I like moist.
You know what my least favorite word is, though?
Do tell. I'm so intrigued.
It's not at all sexual, unless you're really fucking weird.
Well, don't judge my fetishes.
Chowder.
Wait, do you mean chowder?
Chowder.
Chowder's the worst.
Chowder. I'm just thinking about chowder and the notion of clam chowder. Like, to me, that is what good vomit looks like.
I am going to record myself saying chowder, put it on your phone, and change everyone's ringtone. I'm going to customize
Good luck getting past my fingerprint lock, asshole. Chowder panties moist.
That's going to be the ringtone. I'm going to strip it out of this.
So they leave the bar. Well, Girlboss and Shane decamp to Shane's enormous bedroom. And
the bartender's making bank.
They are fooling around, but they both still have all their underwear on.
Yep.
And then she says, "Okay, I'm good." And the drummer clarifies and asks, "So did you somehow get to the end?" And she says, "No, I just don't do one night stands."
But she just goes and teases people.
Yes.
It was just like, because they were making out fiercely and stripped down to underwear, and then she's like,
it was clearly they had rehearsed the making out, because it felt like, I don't know, I guess real for a TV show or movie.
Good chemistry.
Yeah.
It was fine.
And they're both attractive people. It's like, okay, this isn't terrible. And then she's like, and I'm good.
Yeah, and it was
It's like,
clearly she knew she was going to do that, which is just not a very nice thing to do. Again, I guess
you also get the sense that it is largely because she doesn't want to go back to see the eviction notice
So she's just
at her
using
apartment. So
someone
she's
else.
using this person for his comfortable Tempur-Pedic bed.
Yeah.
Then she asks him to make ocean noises.
Yep.
And he does, because, well, he's all smooth like a Ken doll down there. There's no balls.
I would just be just friction astrogliding like
And she sleeps in until almost 10. He brings her an Eggo waffle. She says, no, I have to be work at 10. He says, that's in 3 minutes. And she's like, it's fine. I'm on Sophia time. Or Girlboss time. And she shows up at her job 27 minutes late. Which, frankly, a half-hour turnaround from waking up to arriving at work, that's pretty good.
You know, she just rolled out.
Yeah, I mean,
Autobots roll out.
Yeah. Megatron. And she walks into work. The unfortunate woman who is her boss, it's a shoe store.
Who has to put up with her.
A high-end shoe store.
Fancy
She
stuff.
says, well, now that you're here, please help any customers who come in. I'm going to be in the back doing inventory. Girlboss proceeds to go on eBay and is scrolling through, looking at all the listings, not buying anything because she is self-aware enough to know that she can't afford literally
She's not
anything.
living totally above her means.
Yeah. And then her father calls to remind her about their dinner that evening.
Yep.
She's talking on the phone with her father and ignores a customer that comes in. Her boss comes out of the back room. She sees all of this happening. Then Girlboss is eating the boss's sandwich. And at some point, the fact that her boss's period is 2 weeks early enters this conversation with regards to the sandwich.
Well, because she's using a possible period against her in like. I don't know, like a sign of the patriarchy.
I totally
I don't know.
missed
She's
it.
just being a total like. She's just like, oh, is this about your period? Are you on your like period? Like sort of. That's the sort of comment. That's the vibe I got.
And then the boss says, which is honestly sort of heartbreaking. She's like, my period is 2 weeks early because of the stress of having you as an employee.
You have hormonally imbalanced me, you evil monster.
And this does not face Girlboss at all. She's probably like, hell yeah, badass.
As she takes another bite of her boss's sandwich.
Yeah, still eating her boss's Subway sandwich.
And her boss is like, wait, you knew that was my sandwich.
And Girlboss says, yes, I did. Then Girlboss gets fired.
Yeah.
And
she should. It's just she's like, no, I quit. You didn't fire me. And it's just like, what is this character? What is this person?
And I think that says a lot about Girlboss because she assumes that people will want to know.
Like no one cares.
And
you're a terrible
truly
person.
No one cares about her life. I doubt even her manic pixie dream girl best friend cares about her life.
Oh, as she's leaving the apartment.
Leaving Shane's
10
apartment.
o'clock. Yeah, leaving Shane's apartment. I have to note this part. She runs into her friend and Dax getting busy on the couch, which is sort of strange because it's a shared apartment, but they don't have another bed? Or do they just want to set up that awkward interaction? I don't understand that.
Yeah, because Dream Girlfriend and Dax are clearly naked under a blanket on a couch.
But that's like...
It's a very large living room. And I was like, wait, if Shane moved in with Dax, did Shane take Dax's room and Dax moved into the living room? What is happening, San Francisco?
Gargantuan apartment. Like it's a lofted
It's an enormous apartment.
Probably, San Francisco. So
at least like take a corner and hang up some shower curtains or something. Like be creative with it. Don't just like live on the couch.
But they just wanted to have that awkward moment thing. Like again, it was just that just felt clumsy and dumb.
Yeah, and there's also a moment where Girlboss and Dream Girlfriend, they say, I love you in case I die, as they're saying goodbye, which I guess is supposed to be adorable, but it's like, I kind of hope they both die, and then this show doesn't happen anymore. That would be okay with me.
Oh, man.
So she's fired. She calls...
No, she quit.
She calls someone, and she's realizing that she's an asshole and that her life is shit. Is it her dad?
I think so.
No, because then later she tells him over dinner that she's out of the shoe game. So I don't know who she's calling.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Probably an imaginary friend. I would not put it
because she doesn't know anyone. It doesn't matter. So then she's walking, and then she sees a guy from a bagel shop throwing stuff in the garbage. And then she goes garbage diving for a bagel.
Her boss's sandwich did not satisfy her.
Was like she just ate.
And it's one of the largest bagels I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I've ever seen in
It's like a ciabatta bagel.
or a Panera. It's a big bagel.
So then she eats out of the dumpster, and then she continues walking. Then that's when she
goes into the thrift shop, owned and
proprietor.
I was going to say proprietated,
but that's
not the owner / proprietor is the very funny
Dean
a
character.
bald man Dean from Community television show,
which I love.
Also from the movie The Way Back, which it's a Goodwatch Jr. It's very good. He co-directed it. Anyway, he is at a thrift store telling his employee to turn the bloodstained clothes inside out. Or
don't look ignore the fact that there were mouse turds on. He's like, white people are okay with wearing. White people think it's vintage. Yeah, they don't know how many clothes had mouse turds on.
Enter our hero.
Yeah,
she's going through the racks because it totally makes sense after just losing your job to spend your last $9 on a vintage leather jacket.
She's doing retail therapy. All right.
Yep.
So she finds this really awesome. I'm putting air quotes around awesome here because it was just like it didn't do anything for me.
I think
she liked it.
I think it would have looked very cool if we lived in the 1970s. I think whatever time I was unclear if this show was supposed to be set during the late 90s or early 2000s because in this thrift store the PA system is very clearly playing Gold Lion by the Yeah Yeah Yeahs, and that song didn't come out until I was in high school, and that is at least post fall 2005. So it is not.
Thank you for a flat snapshot of your life there.
Yeah. Gold Lion gonna tell me what time it is. Anyway.
So she goes and he's like, I want to buy this jacket. And she's like, I want to buy it for $8. And he's like, it says 12.
And she's like,
$8's all I have.
$8's all I have. And he's like, I don't believe you. And she says, why? And he says, because you have shifty eyes. And she says, thank you.
Man, thank you, Manic Pixie Dream Girl. Like, it was just so ridiculous.
And she goes, $9. He goes, she's like, $9, and I'll give you some free business advice. And he's like, fine. He takes her $9, counts it. He goes, and what's your free business advice? And she says, this is a vintage 1974 East-West motorcycle jacket.
In perfect condition. Know your shit.
Yeah. Know what your shit's worth.
And then, walks out. Booyah! And I was like, wait. And this guy is underselling very valuable things. Why would you tell him?
Why would you ruin that source of
that guy's never going to be like, oh, you want that? That's going to be $70. Yeah. Every time, I was like, he seems like he doesn't know what he's doing, so just...
Well, the price tag says $12, but for you, that's $120.
Yeah, just add a zero then. That's the asshole tax for you. I was like, what? Also, then they could have a reason to have that character stick around. It was like...
Oh, God. And he's great. He should be in everything. So then she leaves wearing the leather jacket, steals a bagel from the dumpster, so it's not really stealing. Then she does really steal a very nice Persian rug.
Yeah, just grabs it. This guy...
The guy's like, hey, I'll help you right over here. And he says, right over here. Please don't.
You're just...
Oh, you are. Okay.
And we're supposed to think that's, funny?
It's somehow endearing. And also, she's completely ignoring this human being.
And it's just like...
It would have been one thing if she was like, oh, it's fine. I don't need your help. That would have sort of been hilarious, because she doesn't need his help because she's stealing it. Mm-hmm. But no, she just acts like he does not exist. There's only her, her leather jacket, and her rug.
It was after she's already been so crappy, I think they wanted it to be funny, because they played, some upbeat music, but I was like, that's not carrying me along with this. I already hate this character too much.
Then she goes to a park, she unrolls her new rug.
Eats the bagel.
And her jacket. Even though she slept until 10... She sleeps until sunset, at which time the park closes and she's kicked out.
So hold on. So let's do the timeline. She was at work for about 20 minutes.
Yes.
She arrived there at 10:30. She was at work
She's eating lunch at roughly 11.
Ate lunch by 11. Fired by 11:10. Shopping or bagel hopping 11:40.
She's awake maybe 2 hours before she starts napping again.
11:40 bagel dumping. 12:30. By 12:30, she's resolved the whole purchase thing. Steals a rug 12:45. Passes out of the park 1.
Yep.
And then sleeps until
Six. Yeah, it's
and then
sun is setting, and
the
that's
guy's
when the
like,
park closes.
Park's closed.
And so then she realizes she's late for dinner with Dean Norris. Hot dad Dean Norris. Hashtag hot dad Dean Norris. That's, oh boy.
Oh man, dead bod 2004.
I feel like Dean Norris is a handsome guy. You know, it's not like...
He's got charisma for days.
He has charisma for days. He's super talented. I'm sure he really scratches an itch for some people. He is not an ugly guy.
At least one character on the show.
I don't want to disparage. There are people like Kathy Bates and Steve Buscemi who are very talented, but are not what most people would consider objectively attractive. And Dean Norris, I think, is handsome, but he is not hot dad material. That would be your Brad Pitts or George Clooney's or Matt Damon's, I feel.
People of one sexiest man alive.
Or Idris Elba's, Dwayne The Rock Johnson's. Maybe if you're kinky, that Jason Statham dude. He seems shady, though.
He's got shifty eyes. Thank you.
Shady Eye Statham. Or Shifty Eye Statham. And so then she goes to dinner with her rug in tow, which is
she's not going to abandon stolen property. Someone else could steal it.
Yes, she admits to, number one, getting fired. She admits to stealing the rug. Her father orders a refill on his Manhattan, and then he says, and another one immediately after that. And I was like, at least he knows what he's in for. Yeah.
I think he's had several of these dinners in his life.
And the girl boss tries to order a Brandy Alexander, but has misplaced her ID. So instead gets a seltzer or something. Yeah. And comments on how the butter looks like a shell. And then she leaves because she has no taste in Dean Norris.
And she does ask for points for honesty for telling him that she stole stuff. He's trying to get her to come home. And because her life is obviously a shambles.
He is. He's offering her a place to live rent-free while she becomes less of an asshole. And she says, no.
She's like, I don't want to be part of the system. And, I'll be a drone and I won't be able to do my dreams. And he's like, yes, I've heard all this. What dreams are you pursuing? And then she's like, I don't know.
Rug stealing. Rug thievery. And she arrives back at her apartment, sees the eviction notice. She collapses against her front door, and her neighbor exits her apartment, and he says, you done ripped yourself a new taint, girl. Or something like that.
Yeah, no, that's what he said.
She rips a line up the taint.
Up the crotch area, yeah, the crotchal.
Taint misbehaving.
No, that means you're not.
I think she thinks she taint misbehaving.
No, please, God, no.
Whereas we all know she tis.
She what?
She tis misbehaving. So then she goes inside, nails the rug to the wall.
This podcast is over.
nails the rug. This is what happens when neither of us take notes.
I took notes, but most of them were, this character is terrible. That's all my notes were.
God, this episode is a train wreck, but it's not our fault.
It's the taint's fault.
Blame it on the taint.
Blame it on the taint.
Owner of a broken taint, much better than a... Okay, so anyway, that's my second musical impression of the evening. I am canceled. She goes inside, takes a photo of the leather jacket, people start bidding on it, she finds her ID,
and realizes she can make... She's gonna
this is her destiny.
The shit out of this or whatever she says, and that's the end of the episode. And a sigh of relief is released by everyone. I guess
her whole business model, just to recap, is to go to all of the thrift stores in San Francisco,
purchase stuff on the sly,
purchase all of their good stuff, tell them they have no idea what their shit is worth, presumably never be welcome in that store again, and then go and sell it on eBay for a profit. That seems misguided at best because...
No, she's adulting. It's fine. She's got shifty eyes. She's going to do it.
I'm not going to tell you that adulting is not hard, but you also have to try and
kindness is really cheap.
And kindness is free. Kindness is free. And she is a shitty person to literally everyone in her life except Dream Girlfriend. And frankly, that's the worst person in her life.
She got free drinks out of her.
At this point in the podcast, we should mention, if you don't already know, that Girlboss, the TV show, is based on the book #Girlboss, which is nonfiction and based on the life of the author who became the titular Girlboss. And I hope she's a better person. They do say at the beginning that this is very loosely based on true events, and then they emphasize loosely. And I have to assume that was this person's editorial necessity. They're like, you have to add this in because I have never been this awful of a human in my life. And also, it has been thankfully canceled. But what do you think happens before the end of this season?
Now I'm trying to remember because I did watch portions of it with Allison.
Apparently, my sister has watched all of this show and forgot how awful it is.
I think I hear her laughing upstairs because she heard you say that.
I hope she does hear me and she knows that I'm judging her. Because there's nothing redeemable about this show. Although she did try to say that the first episode was the worst, and I was like, it somehow gets better after this? She stole a rug.
I don't know how they stole the pilot then. Like what?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, good watch.
Oh, do you have predictions? I'm sort of trying to recall.
Oh, I did ask you that. Well, she becomes successful eventually.
So I remember.
But I do think there's a lot of evidence to the fact that a lot of successful CEOs are psychopaths, according to the quote-unquote psychopath test.
Yeah.
And I think maybe that's what Girlboss is trying to get at.
I think what'll happen is she'll become sort of a Marvel, I think it's Marvel, right? Kingpin kind of character. She's going to become a huge boss lady and go around fighting Spider-Man.
Shoulders.
Yeah, really broad shoulders.
And the whitest suits.
But it's high fashion though. High fashion Kingpin selling underhanded scummy clothing.
There are literally skeletons in that closet. Skeletons of dead thrift store employees who dared charge her what the clothes were worth. Each one I insulted, and then when they wouldn't sell to me later, because that's like a sort of normal human reaction, I killed them. Oh, God. I would love that.
That's my prediction.
Love that. But anyway.
Oh, man.
Good watch.
You go first, Devin.
Oh, I had one. I was going to say, okay, speaking of adulting, there is a documentary film actually directed by a person who graduated from University of Illinois at Chicago, which is where I graduated from college. His name is Bing Liu, and he directed the documentary Minding the Gap, and for a while it was available on Hulu. If it's not on there, I'm sure you can find it on another streaming service. But it's essentially a documentary about how it's filmed in Rockford, Illinois, which is an economically depressed area where lots of people are leaving all the time and there's very few jobs and sort of a real economic fiasco happening there. And the film sort of deals with the director and two of his close friends growing up, how they are trying to navigate life after high school and college and how they are struggling to deal with that, and their relationships with their parents. And one of his friends is unmarried and has a child, and he's like still in his early 20s, and how that affects him. And it's really moving, and also like I said earlier, it gets at the idea that adulting is hard, but it also shows what it's like to actually try. So, and like you lead, like all of the characters in the movie, they do things that I do not personally agree with, but at the end I like really cared about all of them, and they're actually real people. So I guess that's, I don't know, a credit to Bing Liu's direction and how he sort of told that story. But yeah, it's called Minding the Gap, and it was actually nominated for Best Documentary Feature at the Oscars. So I don't know when I'm gonna get nominated for my Oscar. I'll have to coordinate with Bing. Maybe we can alternate years, share the love between UIC grads.
Mine, Good Watch. That sounds very interesting. My
It is,
Good Watch.
because I recommended it and it's dope.
Cancel that. Sounds terrible now. My Good Watch is also sort of linked to this show. The Dean character, the balding owner proprietor character who plays the Dean in Community. I want to recommend Community because I just realized that we hadn't recommended that before, and I absolutely love that show. I think most of the time it was directed in, I think Dan Harmon had some of the writing stuff. That
he was
well.
the guiding hand behind it.
Yeah.
Like for 90% of the show.
And it's, except for like one season he was out for a bit. It's so much fun. It's very over the top and ridiculous, but that's there's also definitely you can feel a beating heart behind the characters. It's really quite enjoyable.
Yeah. The world's introduction to Childish Gambino. We are forever grateful.
Yeah, it's like everyone's great in it. So I just highly recommend Community.
Well, you can find us. So this is our podcast.
Signing off.
Good night and good luck.
Yes.
So if you'd like to follow us online or get in touch with the show, you can find us at badwatchpod.com or on Twitter at badwatchpod. If you like the show, please subscribe on iTunes and leave us a nice review with all the stars. You can also support us financially via our Patreon page, which is patreon.com/badwatch. And we have 2 tiers that are identical. You can choose which is appropriate for your economic situation. Mm-hmm. I think that's it. Is there anything else I'm forgetting? I feel like I'm forgetting.
I mean, usually say your Twitter stuff.
Oh, I'm trying to get away from that. It's fine.
Okay. So
because I really don't tweet that much.
Oh, really? Okay. I mean, not being on the Twitters, I don't really check it all.
That's true. Andy's on Reddit. If you can find him, I think that's hilarious.
That would be terrifying if people found my handle.
He's Andy.
That guy's Evan.
Roll them credits, because this is Bad Watch.
Evan and Andy. That's all the credits are.
Yay! All the credits.